Welcome back to the lectures series on design thinking. In this lecture, we talk about the empathy, which is part of the inspiration phase. The second part of inspiration phase is empathy. In the first part, we have seen the explore phase, where we have explored the ecosystem that is weaving around the problem that we are going to tackle about. And we try to set a question there, a basic question that what we want to answer in the explore phase. Once we do that, the second phase is empathy phase. And this deals mainly with the people whom we are targeting. And this, in my opinion, this is a crux of entire design thinking, most important and crucial step in the entire process of design thinking. If this goes well, then this sets a path for the entire remaining process, and entire success of the entire remaining process depends on this step only. Here we need to do a bit of research as part of the design thinking, where we need to listen, observe, and explore from the people their pains, their gains, and their circumstances, their opinions, their feelings, everything we need to capture, either through verbal or non-verbal communication. And in this lecture, we talk about those things in detail. Actually, this phase gives us new opportunities. If we keep our mind open, this throws so many opportunities for us to identify the challenges in more detail, the challenges more in real-time perspective, and more realistic experiences can be observed. This phase brings out the hidden talents of the design thinkers, and this separates one from the other, the abilities of the one from the other. Why? Because certain qualities are expected in this phase, which are very much useful, like the curiosity to learn and the respect for others, like open-mindedness, empathy towards others, and presence of mind, observance, the quality of observance, and emotional intelligence, and intuitive power, and system thinking. So all these are some of the crucial features of or qualities of a design thinker. They are expected to showcase so that they can gain so much from the surroundings, environment they are moving in around the users, and they can identify so many crucial factors for the remaining parts of the design thinking process. Several techniques are available in this phase to collect the information from the users or the experiences from the users, like person interviews, expert interviews, observations, and several other techniques. When it comes to the user interviews and expert interviews, the team has to sit together and brainstorm to identify the list of users or group of users whom they want to interview in person, whom they want to interview in group, and who are the experts in the field whom they have to go for interview. They have to interview. So all these things are to be finalized in the brainstorming session. Once they identify, they need to consider so many factors as well. Here, we need to think of the extremes, in the sense, in every group, for every idea, there will be two persons, two sets of persons who are opposing it and who are supporting it. For example, if you take brand loyalty, again, certain users are loyal to the brand and certain users are against the brand loyalty. So we need to identify both. We need to take care of both the extremes of users, and we should get information from them. We should get feelings. We should observe the feelings for both the extremities. So we need to observe those things carefully. And we need to plan the interactions, where to meet, when to meet, how to meet, and with the possible logistics as well. So this entire planning should be on paper, should be put on paper, and we need to plan meticulously. We may plan the group interviews as well, because for certain things, group interviews will bring out more useful information. Why? Because the as per human psychology, when a person reacts in a group, he reacts in a different way. So we need to plan both the aspects of personal interview and group interviews as well. And when it comes to the expert interviews, we need to identify the experts in the field who are relevant to the topic, and the interviewer, who is one of our the team members, should also have certain kind of knowledge on that field, and he should approach the expert and conduct the expert interviews. He should have a we should have an angle. Our own angle should be there to fetch the information from the expert, and we have to set up a productive conversation with the experts so that we can gain so much insights into the related domain. Similarly, when it comes to the observations, apart from the verbal communication, non-verbal communication plays a major role in the observations part. The efficacies and the behavioral aspects and the surroundings, so many things are to be observed. To do this, we may have to record the entire process. Either we need to go for audio record or a video record or a photos. We may take photos if required, if permissions are given for us. Another important set of techniques may include exploring the analogous experiences, in the sense that the experiences obtained in one domain or faced in one domain may be useful to another domain to solve the problems. This is quite often we do this. For example, if you want to create a group and create activities for that group in a systematic manner, we may take cues from military boot camps or NSS camps or whatever already familiar group formations are available, and we may take cues from them. Like this, analogous experiences can be applied from all the members of the team. If they observe such kind of analogous experiences, we may get more insights. Personal diaries are going to provide us more insights into their feelings, but here care has to be taken whether they permit us to go through that or not. If they permit us, personal diaries are going to give more insights into the problems they face. And photo essays is another important technique that we can apply. If suppose if I give a user through camera and ask them to create a photo album of their own experiences, because it is as good as looking through their eyes, and they will shoot whatever they feel is important, so that gives us more information for us from their perspective. If it is feasible, we can also go for such kind of photo essays they can build. It depends on the users also. We cannot do this with everyone, but it depends on the level of the user. Similarly, journey maps on a timeline, how they are experiencing with respect to time in a particular product or a particular issue or a particular process. The journey map is their experiences through the process with respect to time, at what time they are feeling, how they are feeling with respect to the process. So that kind of journey maps are also very good observations that we can use. So all these things are different perspectives, different ways in which we can collect the information. It is not that we use everything for everyone, for every problem. We have to carefully choose the correct method. During the personal interactions, we may observe so many facets of the problem, so many facts and so many issues related to the problem. Even though we note down all the problems, the prioritizing is an issue. Which one is more priority for the end user is an issue there. Instead of ourselves finding out the priorities, sometimes what we can do is we can allow him to do card sorts is an approach, where we put all the issues on the cards, on small cards. We'll write all the issues that are being identified, all the facets of the problems, and ask them to prioritize on their own, so that they can prioritize which is important to them, and the sequential pattern also, if they identify, that is going to be more realistic and more appealing. So card sorts is an approach which is being widely used to prioritize the issues. And the other one is concept provocations. This is usually done at a later half of the empathize phase. Why? Because once we have some kind of understanding of the problem from the users, then we may create a concept addressing the problem, and to get insights into the possible solutions, this concept provocations may be used in some kind of drawings or some kind of models, if we show them, then we may get insights, early insights into the possible solutions. So this is also used in some cases. And guided tours, instead of listening to them only, we can go to the places where actually they are facing the problem, and similar places where such problems do exist, and guided tours will also give us more insights. And finally, the immersive experience. Ultimately, if be in their shoes, that is going to be the ultimate experience. So, immersive experience is doing the job as if they're doing in their place, is going to give us the ultimate experience of the real-time problem. So, immersive experiences will also give us fresh insights, fresh eyes, and we can be there in their shoes. So these are all different techniques that we can use in the empathize phase. Once we observe all possible methods, let us concentrate more on the personal interaction, because that is going to give us more inspiration and more insights. So let us spend some more time on the personal interviews and personal interactions. To do this in a better way, we need to understand the human behavior. What are the factors that are going to influence the human thinking process? Something like here, some of the aspects are being identified, like personal issues, their identity, their values, their emotions, their behavioral issues. All these things comes under personal issues. So we can list out all the issues that we want to tap, or which we want to tap the information. Similarly, professional, if they're working, their workplace ethics and their working environment, their working style, and the mode of payments that are going to get, everything comes under professional issues, and they're also going to influence the behaviors. Similarly, the community and the society. In which community they're living, the behavior, communal behavior, and the dynamics of the community in which they're located, or societal dynamics, all this comes into picture. So we have to list out those aspects. Similarly, cultural, this plays a major role on their psychic behaviors. So we should be very careful and to understand the cultural aspects of this, because the cultural behavior of the team members may be entirely different from the group to which they are tackling. So understanding the cultural issues is a major problem, and we need to have that feel of understanding the others' cultures in a positive way. And institutional or legal. So at large, the society is guided by the rules and regulations and legal issues, and how they are impacting the problems and the human, the group that we are talking about. And learning abilities. Each individual have their own learning abilities towards issues. So the learning issues and learning abilities should also be understandable. And all this, we need to list out in each aspect the possible points where we need to concentrate, and we should not miss those things while taking the interviews, personal interviews. More on personal interviews, we should write down all the possible questions, the potential questions that we want to ask them, and we should prepare the sequence in which we need to ask them also, because that is going to give us a theme. It should be thematic. It should follow the thematic aspect of the problem. And every time we should ask why. For everything, we should inquisitively ask why, because it should be open-ended. We should not give any answers. We should not give any directions to them. Just we should keep them open. Questions should be open. Let them speak out whatever they want, and from their answers also, we can make out questions then and there itself to dig deep into their emotional aspects and problems that they face. And never use usually, because that is going to set the direction in a negative way, because the unusual is more important than usual here. So don't use that word unusually. And most of the time we should devote time to listen than speak. We should speak only very less time, and we should give more time them to speak. Roughly 80% they should speak, only 20% we have to speak. That is how the percentage should be like. Inconsistencies in the theme building from their answers, if there are any, we need to catch them because they are going to give us new directions. So don't leave any inconsistency unattended. Similarly, observe for non-verbal communication that they are expressing. Rather than words, sometimes their expression speaks something more. And let there be no bias. In our questioning, there should not be any bias or direction for the possible solutions. We should be impartial, we should be unbiased in our questioning, and we should not suggest any answers for them. No answer should be given to them. And as far as possible, avoid the yes or no type questions. True or false or yes or no type questions shall be avoided because that is going to curtail the expressive power of the question or the answers for a particular theme. And as far as possible, we can avoid them. So it is advisable that for any interview, along with one member and another, at least one more member should be present, either to record or to interact with the persons. And here is a very beautiful diagram given by the D School, the phases of the interviews. First, whenever you want to start the interview, the first step we need to do is we need to introduce ourselves and let them introduce themselves. Some kind of interaction should be there. Once that interaction is over, then introduce the project or introduce the problems statement of which we are talking about, and then build the rapport. Spend some time on building the rapport. Don't immediately shoot the questions. No. Let us have some conversation with them so that rapport is built so that they can express freely. Until such time, don't shoot the questions. Then once the rapport is built for a certain time, then gradually drag them into the stories, gradually drag them into the theme, and they should narrate the stories. They should be able to come out with their own stories, and we should explore all the emotions. When it goes to the peak, all the emotions will come out. So we should plan in such a way, or conversation should be planned in such a way they should come out with all their emotional experiences. Once it comes out, then there's a successful interview. Without an emotional interview, just simply answering your questions is not going to solve your, it's not going to give much insights. So emotions are very important. So you should pose questions in such a way that emotions should come out on their own. And after that, they should we can frame the question statements to them, final question statements. We can consolidate with them, and we can stop the interviews. So this is how a gradual mechanism should be drawn out. A very pre-planned approach should be there for all the interview process. Then only we can have a very fruitful question answer sessions. When it comes to the personal interactions, effective tool is being used in the design thinking process, and it is called empathy map. For each of the users, these points are noted. Usually they are in 4 quadrants: what they hear, what they do, what they see, and what they feel. And each of the aspects, they may have certain items to cover. For example, if I say feel, what are their fears, their hopes, their inner conflicts, and emotions, dreams, right? All these things, what matters most to them, all such things can be captured in the feel. Here are some of the points are given, but you can add more. And similarly here, what is the feedback from them, and what do users hear from others? What is their most interesting hearing factors for them, and what do influence the act or behave, and what are their opinions? So we can hear from them, and what they do. So what are the tasks that they're doing, and the terminology that they're using for the tasks. What is a typical day activity look like, something like that. So all their actions can be captured in the doing quadrant. And in C, what they important most, what they feel important most, the environment they look at particularly, and aesthetic aspects, how they are giving importance to the aesthetic aspects of the issues or environment or products, whatever that we're concentrating on, and the prominent elements in the visual domain are to be captured. So like this, in each of the quadrant, we can frame certain aspects according to the requirement of the problem, and we need to capture it for each of the individuals. Not only that, two more quadrants are there: pains and gains, and what are the obstacles that you're facing, and frustrations, the frustration points, and challenges that they're facing. All these are the pain points. Similarly, gains, what are their needs that are being satisfied, and what is how they are feeling the success, if at all there is a success for them, and at what points they are feeling the success, and what the users hope to gain, what is that expecting, gain points. So like this, all the facets of the individual are captured in the empathy map, and a predefined set of questions are to be framed in each of the quadrants, and we can capture them for each of the individuals. This is going to help us in the next phase to finalize the questions. This finishes off the inspiration phase. In the next lectures we talk about the ideation phase.